look at ways to increase revenues. Mr. President, we need to unbundle NNPC.
They also observed that the 100 billion naira allocation to defense and 48 billion for education needs to be improved upon, as they commended the 127 billion naira allocation to power and recommended that tax exemption be extended to pharmaceuticals.
I would request that the Senate take a look at the budget of defense. I want to commend the allocation to the power sector of 125 billion naira,
so that the ordinary people in the rural areas will have access to purchasing drugs.
Our budgetary estimates for education generally in the 2020 budget, I want to say, is inadequate.
Senators spoke on other variables of the budget and also called for the rejuvenation of development banks across the country so as to enable them assist in the level of GDP growth.
That is till Tuesday next week when we'll continue with the debate. Thank you.
10 bills were passed for first reading. These include the Federal Road Authority Bill from the National Assembly. Ignatius Unko, NTN News.
Joining us to speak to issues on the budget before the National Assembly is Dr. Abubakar Yunusa Ahmed, member representing Yamatul Deba Federal Constituency in Gombe State. He is currently a member of the House Committee on Loans, AIDS and Debt Management. Welcome to Panorama.
Thank you, Lydia,
you for joining us.
Viewers.
Thank you. Now, how are members viewing the budget presented by the President?
Well, by the special note, the document was late. We perused it, we went through it, and by yesterday plenary, at the end of which we have concluded debate on the fundamental principles of the budget. And the House has officially gone on the suspended plenary to concentrate on the budget until the end of October or 29 to see that the document is ready, pursuant to the time frame we gave ourselves to make the document ready for assent comes December ending. Now, having said that, during the fundamental debate, the debate on the fundamental principles, a lot of things came up, which were not a kind of far away from the Senate. In the preview, if the listener will have listened what transpired in the Senate, a lot of some senators are raising some skepticism about the funding of the budget, which is very, very critical. Previous years, we do have a budget, and then the funding becomes a kind of, we have some difficulties in funding. Again, we were unable to meet substantially the budget estimated in the previous year. This year, we want it to be different. Let it be let it not be business as usual, but business unusual. Pursuant to that, normally in the previous years, it's only the appropriation bill that are being laid by the executive. To give kudos to the executive this time around, and probably I will give it to the involvement of the legislators, especially the leadership, prior to laying the document, or in the initial preparation of the estimate document by the executive, which hitherto it has not been. And we have been clamoring for that. Because of that, the leverage on the advisors we might give them, one, it will ease a kind of, and provide a kind of a seaming, a flow, hitch-free budget, and avoid the unnecessary delays, because we were part and parcel of packaging the whole document. So it is not a new document that we are seeing. It's just for us to observe whether what we agreed outside can have the blessing of the law. If there is a departure, we now correct the infraction and we assent. Fine. Having said that, that is to tell you that even before the document was laid, there are some expectations by the members. That is why when we commenced the budget in the House of Representatives, a member drew a point of order that we haven't received the details from the Minister of Finance. How can we commence the discussion? And the Speaker ruled him out of order that normally we debate without having the details. You as a legislator, you should have done your preambles.
Yes, now let's go to
now. I haven't answered your question. I'm just giving a kind of a preamble.
Okay.
The question is, we view the budget in one single sentence that it is a budget of hope, optimism, and it is realizable.
Okay, that's good. Now, the executive, like you said, has played its role by presenting the budget early. Now, are the legislators ready to do their bits and pass it before the end of the year?
Definitely, that is what we are set for. And like I told you, I wanted to score home a point that not only the appropriation bill that was laid, we have what is called a financial bill. So actually, Mr. President laid two bills that very penultimate Tuesday. The financial bill particularly concerned about VAT. The last review, when the listener or the viewer now, who if he listened to before you brought me on board, a senator was raising issue about the VAT exemption. I mean, pharmaceuticals and educational and what have you should have been formed part of the exemption. I think, with due respect to my senator, my senior colleague, this has been already on the exempted list of VAT. Pharmaceuticals, educationals, and some basic items. Suffice to say that Mr. President has added about 5 or 8, up to 8 other components of the exemption, and that was what was contained in the financial bill to serve as a palliative, because they intended to raise revenue by at least adding 2.5% of the VATed items component. Issues like, cereals, all this sorghum, millet, all those, maize, and then root, cassava. So in short, all the agricultural produce has been exempted from VAT, which ab initio, they are not there. Again, the baby food are also exempted.
Okay.
Now, when you now go milk, meat, so many things that a common man like me and you and any other person goes regularly. This is to serve as palliative to reduce the effect of the VAT increase, because VAT is a lot. Now, in the House of Representatives, like I told you, I belong to a committee, and we were started when we come to consider the financial bill. We proposed 2 additional exemptions.
Okay, they are.
And I am praying, we are lobbying to our members to sell. Part of it is really to remove VAT on electricity tariff.
That's good.
We wanted also to go at least to all this like water tariff. It is to serve as a kind of incentives. Maybe they could be temporary for 2-3 years or so. It could be removed, but it might not be continuous.
Okay.
We have an appellate power. We don't have it, and then the power sector, the discos are not yet to provide meters. They are leveraging on the estimated billing, which is adding more on the consumers, me and you. And so when you remove VAT from it, at least we will cushion some effect.
Okay, now
again, apart from we are now talking of airfares, domestic airfares. We want to remove VAT.
Okay, let me chip in
now.
I have to chip here. We're actually running out of time. Now, after passing the budget for second reading, where that has taken place, when will the committees begin work on it? Very briefly,
as I'm talking to you now, as of today, some of the committees have commenced defense.
That's wonderful. Thank you for coming on Panorama.
Thank you
so much. We've been talking to Dr. Abubakar Yunusa Ahmed, member representing Yamato Deba Federal Constituency in Gombe State. Thank you for coming on Panorama.
Thank you.
All right. Attention on child as international community focuses on the plight of girls across the world. That will be
the struggle for independence had been a long and tough one. Our founding fathers and compatriots sacrificed their comfort and even shed their blood. We cannot at this point in history afford to spirit away their sacrifices for immediate but temporary gains of today. Let us emphasize what unites and not what divides us. Working for the unity of purpose with a stronger vision for a better tomorrow. NTA, growing with the nation.
Together, no matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together. Let's stop fighting each other. Let us live as one. It doesn't matter where you come from, your tribe or religion, man, woman or child. It doesn't matter who you are. Put Nigeria first. No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
How can we develop when we're always in crisis? Families have become refugees in their country. No matter our differences, show some understanding.
No matter where you come from, no matter your religion, we are one. Let's live together.
Nigeria, the only country we can train with remarkable potentials to excel. Let us believe in ourselves and change our attitude for the sake of our country and generations unborn. Let us revive our cultural values, which are our essence as a nation. Let us renew the spirit of patriotism and hope in our dear country. Do not take or give bribe. Be punctual always. No more African time. We can't expect to be global citizens and operate on African time. Join the queue. Insist that people are attended to on a first-come basis, no matter who they are or where they come from.
Nigeria, good people, great nation.
Welcome back. The Court of Appeal in Abuja has sacked the senator representing Kogi West in Kogi State, Dino Melaye. The court affirmed the judgment of the Kogi State National Assembly Election Petition Tribunal. It has therefore nullified the election of Senator Dino Melaye of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. The Independent Electoral Commission, INEC, is to conduct fresh elections within 90 days from today. It is the International Day of the Girl Child, and to commemorate the day, managers of their affairs as well as civil society organizations are marking the day with concerted efforts to give a voice to their issues. Victor Azu tells us how one of such organizations empowers adolescent girls to stake a claim in the scheme of things.
A 2018 UNICEF research suggests that about 60% of out-of-school children in Nigeria are girls, with many of those enrolled dropping out early. Situations like these across the world motivated the October 11 commemoration of the International Day of the Girl Child every year. The day focuses attention on the unique challenges confronting girls and how to mitigate them. In line with this, the Tabitha Kumi Foundation has been training adolescent girls aged 17 to 23 years in 29 schools and 27 communities in the FCT, supporting their step up to new levels in education and work. Engine 2, they call it.
I'm into bead making, so this training has taught me how to package my goods and a lot more.
With the help of this program, I can be able to do my own bookkeeping for my business.
Having been trained in various crafts, the girls now have the opportunity to be influenced by these young entrepreneurs, and these secondary school girls have come to glean. Soon after, their cooperative is unveiled by Permanent Secretary in the Presidency, Habiba Lawal, to enable them gain access to funding, while the Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment watches with keen interest.
I've seen what they're doing, and we hope to open ways and doors for them to try and have some kind of access to microcredit once they form themselves into either proper cooperatives or proper, cottage industries that will be able to intervene.
Some of them have ill parents. Some of them are divorced as young as they are. Some of them are single parents. But once they are empowered, because they all have skills, they will be able to take care of themselves.
Victor, Azu, NTA News.
Another guest in the studio to talk more on the International Day of the Girl Child is Tayo Enrile. She is the Executive Director, Tabitha Kumi Foundation. Thank you for joining us on Panorama.
Thank you for
Now,
having me.
one of the major issues in the global community is access to education, and also seen as one of the SDGs targets. Where is Nigeria currently on this, and how has the civil society aided in actualizing this target?
Okay. Well, we're not doing as well as we should be on it as a nation. And various organizations are doing different interventions to help. Because, as you know, with the UNESCO report, half of those that are out of school, the 10.5 million children, are girls. And we, as an organization, are working on a project educating Nigerian girls in new enterprises, supported by DFID and Mexico, Nigeria. And what we're doing is that we're working with girls in marginalized communities, because that's where the problem really is. And we're working with in-school girls and out-of-school girls, learning to help them to acquire skills, basically numeracy and literacy. Because even if you are in school, you cannot transit except you pass literacy and numeracy. Okay. So they can transit to new levels of education, like from JS to SS and ultimately to university. Okay. And then for those that are out of school, they are being taught how, giving another chance, a second chance of education, through teaching them at whatever level they are, post-basic level, literacy and post-literacy. Because there are some that dropped out of school, maybe at JS2, so they have helped, to continue. Okay. Those that could not pay for their JAM and WAEC are,
assisted.
Yes. Okay. And they're actually doing well. They did well in JAM, so they're getting admission to universities. Yes. Because they are not dull. All they lack is the opportunity. And the resources.
Okay. Okay, now, in our society these days, most girls are becoming victims of domestic violence. Now, how do you think this trend can be reduced?
It can be reduced if girls are encouraged to speak out. We have a culture of silence in Nigeria. We don't want to talk about it. And we are working a lot on that, in the child and violence against children and vulnerable people. And what we're doing is that we're also working in conjunction with collaborating with agencies like FIDA. Okay. Because we have young girls who are in marriages that are being battered, and they're not able to speak out. But because they are now aware of their rights, they're able to say, this is the situation. And sometimes we have to go to court. They have to go to court on their behalf, and to help them. So the culture of silence must be broken. When a girl knows her rights, she's able to, to talk about it.
That's talking about enlightening them and making sure they know what.
And then also, if she knows her rights and she talks about it, there also must be response. How do we support her? How do we make sure that the issue is tackled, is taken care of? So in the FCT, there are lines where girls can call, to say that, they have this challenge or they have that challenge. This is the situation they are facing. And as an organization, we are working with different stakeholders to make sure that violence against children and vulnerable adults is...
Okay, now you're talking about opening lines. You open lines for girls in Abuja. Now, going down to the rural areas, how are they being reached, and how much progress have you got in this crusade to help them?
Okay, well, we work in the rural areas. Okay. Because that's where the problem is. We actually went to work with women, but we found that there was a gap with the girls. Because we found girls of 12, 13 getting pregnant, and once they have their children, they just go into the routine of womanhood in the community level. And so, because of that, getting to the rural areas, anyone that is working with girls and working in the city, it's good. But for women and girls to change the narrative of the face of a woman being the face of poverty, we must get to the grassroots, educate the girls, empower them, and we can actually change that story.
Now, there seems to be more girls in the streets today. What are organizations like yours doing to complement efforts of the government and also reduce cases of incest? It's all over. In fact, every day you hear about this.
Okay, with the girls on the streets, really what we need to do is to domesticate the Child Rights Acts in every part of the country. Some states have done that, but not everyone has done that. And then, with cases of incest, you see, the issue is letting the girl know that she's safe to talk to you. She's safe, she can rely on us to let us know what her issues are. And really, we're having girls who are speaking out that this is the situation.
That's good to know. Thank you for coming on Panorama. We've been talking to the Executive Director, Tabitha Kumi Foundation. Thank you, Tayo Erinle. Now, sports is next. Brazil and Senegal played out a 1-0 draw in an international friendly match at the Singapore Stadium Thursday, as Nigeria's Super Eagles await a friendly against Brazil on Sunday in Singapore. Tamara Ebiwe brings us more on our sports update.
Nigeria's Golden Eaglets have settled down in their training camp in Brazil ahead of this year's FIFA Under-17 World Cup, which kicks off October 26. Head coach Manu Garba is expected to submit a final 21-man squad for the tournament come October 16. The Eaglets opened their World Cup campaign against Hungary October 26, before the fixtures against Ecuador and Australia in Group B.
There is a problem with the MRI. I think out of the ones conducted, about 2 or 3 failed, and they are not in the main plan of the coach.
Air Warrior Babes basketball team emerged winners of the third phase North Zone Women's Basketball League, which ended Tuesday in Abuja. The Warriors, who won all their 7 matches in the league, defeated the Nigerian Army 77 to 41 points on the final day to claim first position.